Every year, over 150 million Americans hit submit on their tax returns. When you file yours, you probably picture your financial data zipping through sleek fiber optic cables. You imagine it landing safely inside a highly secure, ultra-modern cloud server. That sleek web portal you're looking at is a complete illusion. Your tax return is actually sent to a computer system commissioned during the John F. Kennedy administration. The modern IRS website is just a thin, glossy veneer. It hides a 60-year-old digital fossil running deep in the background. You are feeding your personal data to a machine older than the moon landing. It was built before the modern internet even existed, and that ancient machine is currently holding a $4 trillion economy hostage.
If the only things certain in life are death and taxes, on tax day, paying them was anything but certain. A third of all taxpayers wait until April to file, and many of those who tried to file online today saw this message. This service is currently unavailable. We apologize for any inconvenience.
This is game day for the IRS, and it seems the IRS can't get out of the locker room.
We have backup systems that we are bringing up online.
Social media exploded. Seriously? Great day for the IRS to have an unplanned outage. Congress is considering legislation that would require the IRS to modernize its systems. The House will actually vote on that tomorrow.
We are right now about to pierce 100 million digital users for SSA. And we will roll out in the next few months a mobile app. That completely transforms.
Logically, a system this critical should have been replaced decades ago. So, why are we still using it? This digital fossil has an official name. It is called the Individual Master File, or the IMF. This is the authoritative source of truth for every single taxpayer in the United States. The government flipped the switch on to this massive beast back in 1960. It originally ran on room-sized IBM 7074 mainframes. Later, they moved it to the iconic IBM System 360. Today, the core foundation of this system still relies on millions of lines of assembly language and COBOL. These are the programming languages from the absolute stone age of computing. The system even uses an archaic IBM character encoding called EBCDIC. Modern computers simply do not speak this language anymore. Yet, this exact codebase processes over $4 trillion in federal revenue every single year. Just think about the sheer scale of that number. It manages over 100 million active taxpayer accounts. Your laptop probably struggles to run a heavy video game. Meanwhile, the United States Treasury balances the national checkbook on museum technology. But age isn't the actual problem here. To understand why the government is paralyzed, you have to look at the physical mechanics of how this data actually moves. The obvious question is simple. Why hasn't the government just upgraded to a modern database? Because they are absolutely terrified to touch it. When you change your shipping address on Amazon, the system updates instantly. That's because modern tech companies use relational databases. These databases let computers jump straight to your specific file in a fraction of a second. The IRS cannot do this. They use a 1960s method called sequential batch processing. The IMF was originally designed around physical magnetic tapes. All that data is stored in massive continuous flat files. There are no features like indexing to help the computer find things quickly. This means the IMF operates exactly like a music playlist where you cannot skip the tracks. If the computer needs to update a tax return from someone named Zachary, they cannot just jump directly to the letter Z. The machine must physically read through every single record from A through Y first. It has to read millions of unrelated files just to change one single number. And it has to do this every single time. Because of this rigid design, there is absolutely no real data at the IRS. Every single transaction sits in a digital waiting room. Payments, address changes, and penalties wait in a long line all day long. Nothing happens immediately. Instead, the system gathers all these changes into one gigantic queue. Then, it forces the mainframe to process them all at once during a massive overnight batch run. When the IRS agent pulls up your account on their screen, they're always looking at yesterday's data. You are interacting with a system permanently stuck 24 hours in the past. It is a logistical nightmare. So, if the government knows exactly how inefficient this is, why don't they just buy a modern database? Because they tried, and it triggered a multi-billion-dollar catastrophe. In the 1990s, the government launched a project called Tax Systems Modernization. They vaporized $4 billion trying to build a new system. The project completely collapsed and was abandoned. In the 2000s, they tried again with a massive upgrade called CADE. That project also hit a brick wall and died. These upgrades always fail for a very specific engineering reason. The IMF is a load-bearing skyscraper. You cannot safely rip out the concrete foundation of a massive skyscraper while 150 million people are still living inside the building. Congress changes the tax laws every single year. Programmers constantly bolt new rules onto this ancient system. Layer after layer of new technology was piled on top of the original 1960s core. Over 6 decades, the IRS created a terrifying web of undocumented logic. Right now, there are code segments still actively enforcing tax laws that were repealed over 30 years ago. Programmers cannot remove that dead code because some other part of the system unexpectedly relies on its output. Over 400 modern applications plug directly into the IMF. Fraud detection algorithms and state tax departments rely completely on this exact architecture. These modern systems expect the weird, specific 1960s outputs. Over time, actual software bugs were never fixed and gradually became critical features. If you change one single line of assembly code at the bottom, dozens of modern apps at the top will crash in ways nobody can predict. The government realized they were completely trapped. They decided it was just safer to leave the 1960s code alone. But ignoring a ticking time bomb doesn't stop the clock. And on April 17, 2018, time finally ran out. April 17, 2018. It's tax day. This is the single busiest financial day of the year for the United States government. Suddenly, the modern IRS web portals went completely dead. The National Tax Data System froze solid. A routine firmware bug inside an 18-month-old piece of storage hardware caused the entire meltdown. The new hardware was physically connected to the ancient mainframe. The sheer absurdity of this setup is terrifying. Think of this modern hardware like a brand new smartphone adapter plugged into a 1960s wall outlet. It acted as the only translator between the sleek website and the ancient flat files. When that modern hardware experienced a tiny glitch, it dropped offline for a moment. At a normal tech company, a bug like this reboots in milliseconds and nobody even notices. But because it was the only bridge in the 1960s system, the glitch became fatal. The modern apps kept screaming for data, but the 60-year-old mainframe didn't understand the modern error code. It had no idea how to handle the sudden break in communication. Instead of fixing itself, the entire multi-trillion-dollar system just threw up its hands and froze. You can build a billion-dollar state-of-the-art web portal, but if the tiny digital bridge connecting it to the 1960s backend stumbles for even a second, the whole country stops working. The IRS commissioner was forced into a humiliating position. They had to extend the tax filing deadline for the entire country by a full 24 hours. A $5 trillion economy was brought to a screeching halt. A single everyday glitch paralyzed the modern U.S. tax collection process. The system eventually rebooted, but a 60-year-old machine doesn't run on autopilot. It requires a very specific and rapidly disappearing type of human to keep it breathing. The original engineers who built this system in the 1960s are gone. The current IRS tech team acts more like archaeologists than modern programmers. They have to carefully excavate and decipher 50-year-old code. The IRS frequently has to lure retired ALC and COBOL programmers back into the building. Nobody else speaks this ancient programming dialect that controls the economy. Take a specific piece of system known internally as Run 12. This massive section handles financial settlement for the government. It is constructed from hundreds of thousands of lines of indirectly complex assembly code. Nobody fully understands exactly how all the pieces interact anymore. To fix a glitch, these code archaeologists have to guess how a programmer in 1974 solved the problem. Think about a young computer science graduate today. They want to build modern apps or work at a major tech company. They absolutely do not want to learn a dead language just to maintain obsolete magnetic tape code. Learning this ancient dialect is a complete career dead end. Plus, the government refuses to pay modern Silicon Valley salaries. They cannot attract new tech talent to replace the old guard. This makes the brain drain a literal biological ticking clock. The contractors keeping the system alive today are in their 70s and 80s. When those specific individuals retire or pass away, their undocumented knowledge disappears forever. There is no backup manual for this messy code. The pool of human beings who understand how to keep the US Treasury afloat shrinks every single year. So, the next time Congress passes a massive new tax law, don't think about the cloud. Think about an 80-year-old contractor sitting in a basement, desperately trying to type that brand new law into a 1960s sequential flat file, hoping he doesn't hit the wrong key and delete the United States economy.